Let's get straight to the point. I asked Rocket League coaches about their best advice for players below Grand Champion. So what is your rank and what's your best piece of advice for players below Grand Champion?
I'm GC2 in 2s and 3s, and I think the biggest thing, like one of the most common mistakes I see from players is there's just an overemphasis on, I guess, fancy mechanics. The main thing you should focus on if you want to get to Grand Champion is just consistency with fundamentals. Basic aerials, basic ground shots, being able to take 50s, challenging well, keeping up your momentum, like the kind of unflashy stuff. I think a lot of people might think is like boring, but is really what makes up the meat and potatoes of Rocket League. And the fancy stuff is something, you should start to learn once you're maybe past the Grand Champion level. But if your main concern is like just trying to rank up, then just get really good at the basics. That's my advice to people.
So personally, my rank is Grand Champ 2 in 2s and 3s. I have been in GC though for a very long time. So like season 3 was I think the first season I hit GC. So my advice, once you get in that plat area, I would say, then I would like start with the basics a bit more, like learning some mechanics maybe, like for example like speed flick or wave dashing. I would say like Champ 2, Champ 3. That's then the main thing to tell them like where they struggle with the rotation, how to improve that, especially in the solo queue, because many people solo queue and don't really know how to support their like teammate the best way, I would say.
What's the biggest success story from a player that you coached and what was his mistake?
I haven't done too much long-term coaching with people. It's usually one-on-one sessions, but I have coached a team and I got them from playing like at a Champ 3 level to about a GC2 level. Occasionally, if they were playing really well, they could play with GC3s and hang. And in terms of like what is it that we worked on, mainly is like fundamentals in terms of mechanics, and then just figuring out how to cooperate as a team, I suppose. I don't know if there's any one single tip that I gave them that like led to that, so I'm not sure I'm able to answer that part of your question.
I mean, there were many people that surpassed me by much, I have to say. A friend of mine, I was GC1 that time, and he was Champ 2. I played with him, kind of carried him a bit, not gonna lie. Then he grinded, he asked me for a bit of coaching. We sat down like every month, like to analyze a bit like what he does and all of that. I feel like after 1 year or something, he was like GC2, GC3, and a bit like months after, he was SSL and like sent me a pic. And he was very thankful. He like said, "Thank you, man." And that was something that really like made me happy, not gonna lie.
Do you think a warm-up routine is necessary? And if yes, what's the best warm-up routine?
I feel like it definitely can help, I would say. Like not if you get online and then just jump straight into a rank game. I feel like that's not really the strat. I normally do casual before. It kind of works then, like I do 2-3 games normally. If I didn't play the game for a long time, I try to get into it a bit longer, I would say. If I would suggest something, I would say at first maybe go in free play, practice like the basics so you get them done so you don't make like the small mistakes which can happen during the game. Then play some casual games and then start into a rank game. Especially if you have a teammate already, then definitely go into some casual games to like get like how you get along with each other, especially if like it's a random person or something you invited. Because sometimes like people don't connect. I feel like then it's very frustrating if you go in a rank game and it just doesn't work out.
Would you say mechanics or positioning is more important in order to reach GC?
Both. You can't be all mechanics, no game sense, or no positioning, and you can't be all positioning, no mechanics.
Okay, so good combination.
Yeah, and the thing about having mechanics too is it opens up options to you, which allows you to position differently or in spots where someone else wouldn't be able to position if they didn't have those mechanics.
And finally, my number one advice if you want to reach GC, practice the consistency of fast mechanics. And I would say especially aerials. If your aerials are fast but you're not consistent, then it's as bad as being consistent with slow aerials, because you will get beaten on every ball. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you're trying to rank up in Rocket League, watch this video because there I show you the 5 worst habits that are holding you back from ranking up.